So I have put together what I think is the ideal Phil Collins set list. Want to see it? Here it is. So a couple caveats before we get going into this. This is my ideal set list, but I didn't actually make it my true ideal set list. Like my true ideal set list would be all of both sides played all the way through and then all of But Seriously played all the way through. This is not my ideal set list. I still wanted to create a good set list, something that a lot of fans would like. And for that reason, I've actually included some of the hits that I'm not crazy about, but I think need to be there because I want this to be a realistic ideal set list, not just my favorite set list, a realistic set list that actually could be used. At the same time, I think you'll find some surprises in here because I've come up with some unique things that he's never done before. And I've also taken out some of the hits that I think he's played too much. So we're going to go through this track by track. I'm very, very excited. Let me get out of the way so I can put it on the screen here. Before I do, if you've been enjoying these videos, please subscribe and leave a comment. You guys always do. I mean, people are so opinionated about Phil and Genesis, which is awesome. But please subscribe and like this video. It super helps. Okay, here we go. So the opening track that I would do on an ideal Phil Collins set list is Hand in Hand. And this is something that he did on But Seriously, and then he did it also on the Dance Into the Light tour. So this isn't my invention. And you know, Hand in Hand is in my top 10 songs. I think it's a really, really good song, but it's just a beautiful opener. And then the way when the drums come in and the horns, it's such a powerful opener. So I think it's just one of my favorite openers. And you know, it's not a hit song. So it's not like he's giving away some sort of big hit song in the beginning. I just think it's a very artistic way to open the set. So I liked when it was used, and so I'm going to copy that and use Hand in Hand. But whenever he used it on Dance Into the Light, I think he went straight into Hanging Long Enough. So I do think it's really important that we go straight into a big, big song. And that's why I'm going into Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. Usually this is a little bit later in the set, although I think it was early in the set, if not almost the opener on the Farewell tour. And so I think this really works when you kind of do these interesting horns and this interesting buildup in Hand in Hand. And then we go into Something Happened on the Way to Heaven, which is one of my favorite Phil Collins songs and is such a killer opener. I think that would really get the crowd excited. Now, sometimes Phil will start to bring down the show a little bit, and oftentimes he'll go into Against All Odds. But I think we should keep things going here. So let's go into Who Said I Would, our first representation from No Jacket Required. Who Said I Would is really cool. It's a great little tune. It has a good kickoff part with that marimba, and I just think it sounded good on the But Serious tour. So I think it would sound good at the number 3 spot, because what we're doing here is we're opening up with Hand in Hand, kind of artistic and ominous, and something's brooding, and then you hit them really hard with Something Happened on the Way to Heaven, and then you think you might go down again, but then you hit them again with Who Said I Would, and which is a kind of a funnier song and a little bit more, it's more upbeat than Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. So to me, you're super energized in this opening 3 songs. I'm getting excited. I wish I could see this live right now. Now, I threw this in here as number 4, even though I never understood why Phil would often put this so early in the set, but it's not a total downer. So I'm going to put it in here because I have a purpose for it, which you'll see in a second. But I'm putting Against All Odds at number 4. Again, he would often play this number 2, number 3, super early in the set for the past several decades. Did he not, or did he open it with it in 2015, 2016, 2017, which is kind of weird. But anyway, it's a fan favorite. I don't mind it. And so we've kind of had 3 super big songs, and we're now like 15, 20 minutes into the set. So to give everybody a break, kind of give the band a break too, and you give people a break to sit down and just sip their beer for a second and kiss their loved one and enjoy a nice little ballad. But I don't want to stay low too long. And I think he did a little bit too many like kind of softer tunes in the Farewell tour, especially stuff from like Brother Bear and, True Colors and stuff from Testify. So I want to kind of start to bring it up again. So speaking of Testify, this is where we would bring in Can't Stop Loving You. Bring another hit song early into the set. And this is where we start to rev back up, because Can't Stop Loving You is a really powerful emotional song, but it's also kind of mid-tempo. So it's not a ballad, but it's not anything super big like Who Said I Would or Something Happened on the Way of Heaven. So that's my intent here, is to start off really big, dip back down really low for Against All Odds, and then start to bring the energy back up in for Can't Stop Loving You, which I think would be cool early in the set because it's one of his newer songs. Okay, I'm excited about this idea I came up with, and I think you're going to like it. Next up is what I'm going to call the Motown medley. And Phil, I don't know if Phil has done very many medleys on tour, but Genesis certainly has. And it was a way for them to kind of get through and check the boxes on a bunch of popular older tunes. And so I want to do this here. I want to create something called the Motown Medley as a way to kind of check the boxes on some songs that I maybe don't personally need to hear live very in full length, which you'll see in a second. But then also some songs that we haven't ever got to hear in the past 30 years, 40 years. So this would be a lot of like horn heavy songs, Afro, Latin influenced songs. So before I dive into this, I just want to say like this Motown medley, and not everything has that Motown feel, but this medley would be put together kind of mashed up. So we wouldn't be playing all of necessarily any of the songs, but I want to kick it off with Dance Into the Light, which I think Can't Stop Loving You is really beautiful and starts to bring the energy up. And then you hit these big horns and all the bright lights and bright colors of Dance Into the Light comes on. And I just think we're really kind of coming out the gate here with some really exciting moments. So we start this Motown medley with Dance Into the Light. And then again, it's truncated. I don't know where it's cut off. In my mind, it's, you play it maybe 2/3 of the way through, but because this is a surprise, right? People don't know what's going to happen. Then it goes into Behind the Lines, which is one of my favorite Phil songs. It's a Genesis song. It's a Mike Rutherford song. And I really love this tune. And I loved hearing it on the No Ticket Required tour. I didn't go to that tour, but I've seen the video. And I just think it's so great. It was played wicked fast on that tour, unless the tape was played back fast. I'm not sure. But anyway, bass line is just killer. I love Leland on the bass line for this song, and the horns are beautiful. So if there's some way to kind of reintroduce this song, this is a deep cut. So some, older fans would really enjoy to see this back into the set from Face Value. And so to somehow kind of mold Dance Into the Light into Behind the Lines, I think would be really cool. And then we go into I Cannot Believe It's True, another tune that was really great on the No Ticket Required tour. And it's an upbeat song. It's got that Motown feel. The horns are just, listen, I'm not a horn player. I don't play trumpet. I don't play any of that stuff. I tried trombone in high school, but I think I've got 5 songs in this medley. I don't know if like a trumpeter could handle 5 in a row like this. They might need a break. Hopefully I gave them a break after this. But anyway, let's assume they can handle 5 songs in a row. So I've got Dance Into the Light, then we kind of somehow blend into Behind the Lines, then we somehow kind of blend into I Cannot Believe It's True. I'm not a huge fan of Hello, I Must Be Going. You know that. I've said that before. That's no surprise, but this song is a banger. I often, it's very, very similar to the other tune, which is It Don't Matter to Me, but this is a really great song. I think it might be the better of the two, although I'm sure I change my mind on that all the time. But I'd love to hear this live more often. And so because these are deeper cut songs, especially Behind the Lines, I Cannot Believe It's True, I think I could see him just doing like a verse and a chorus and maybe some sort of horn part. And then we go into I Missed Again, which was a big single, and it's very popular. And he played it on Final Farewell tour. And I think he played it occasionally on the most recent tour, solo tour. But I Missed Again is great. And I think, did he play Misunderstanding on the Farewell tour? I feel like he did for some reason, but maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of I Missed Again. I always get them kind of mixed up, same era. So again, we've got this Motown medley, and we're just kind of quickly going through Behind the Lines. I Cannot Believe It's True. I Missed Again. Dance in the Light maybe a little bit longer. And then we close off the medley with You Can't Hurry Love, which is kind of controversial because that's usually later in the set. I think he would often blend it into Two Hearts, which I get. But I want to put it earlier in the set because I don't love it. I think also you're maybe kind of appeasing fans too. You're giving away one of the bigger singles earlier on. Same thing with Against All Odds, and same thing with Can't Stop Loving You. So give them some of the bigger songs earlier on in the set. To me, it makes the top half of the set really good. So this is my Motown medley. I don't know if all the songs are played through or if you kind of truncate them so that they all fit together. So it opens with a super big tune, Dance Into the Light, which is a huge fan favorite. People love that tune. I love that tune. Super energetic. Probably one of the best on Dance Into the Light album. Definitely in my top 3 on that album. So you open with that one really big, and then you close this Motown medley with You Can't Hurry Love, which would be the biggest song that we're doing so far, pretty much, aside from Against All Odds. But You Can't Hurry Love, you could maybe play that one out full. So I think there's some cool things you could do with this. Now, after our Motown medley, we got to kind of bring things down and give everyone a little bit of break. And so maybe just Phil on the keyboard. Although, I don't think he really played the keyboard in the later years, did he, on Farewell Tour? Now that I'm thinking, he played this one on the CP70 back in the day, but I don't think he played this very much anymore. But anyway, just a super quiet version of One More Night. Of course, bring the sax out, but give the band a rest, give everybody else a rest. And then also kind of what we did with Against All Odds, which is really low, and then starting to bring things back up with Can't Stop Loving You, this is where we would do this lights go low and we do Can't Turn Back the Years. And when they did Can't Turn Back the Years, was it both sides that they did this, or was it Dance into the Light, or both? It was Dance into the Light for sure, and Farewell Tour, I think, as well, where Brad Cole starts with that really big pad. It's like a super sweeping pad, and the lights go low, and it's a very long intro until the drum machines kick in for Can't Turn Back the Years. I love Can't Turn Back the Years. It's a beautiful track, number 2. And I just think it would be really nice in this set. And I know that Phil loves that song. So kind of bringing things back down for One More Night, and then starting to slowly bring them up with Can't Turn Back the Years, which is still pretty subdued. And while we're kind of in this like meditative, like slow and taking a break part of the set, is where we could bring in one of his biggest songs of all time, which is Another Day in Paradise. And so I think kind of having this sad, darker tune of One More Night, Can't Turn Back the Years, and then I think this would be a nice spot to put Another Day in Paradise. And again, because we're now getting into mid-tempo songs, we're starting to rev back up, as you can tell. Can't Turn Back the Years and Another Day in Paradise with the big drums, but it's a big fan favorite too. So some fans might be like, whoa, I wasn't very familiar with what's going on in the Motown medley, and I don't really know Turn Back the Years very well. But of course, Another Day in Paradise everybody knows that song. So I'm going to kind of I want to kind of show you how this is I'm putting this together in my mind. So I've got a little bit of a mellow section happening here, and I think it works. Now we got to bring things back up. One of my favorite songs, definitely one of my favorite songs off of But Seriously, but one of the biggest live songs ever because the horns is Hanging Long Enough. So let's hit them. Let's come right back at it with Hanging Long Enough, after Another Day in Paradise. And then Don't Lose My Number. So this is kind of the same type of feeling as the intro. And he did these 2 songs on the Dance into the Light tour. And so Hanging Long Enough, Don't Lose My Number, just kind of bringing the energy right back up. And songs like Another Day in Paradise and Don't Lose My Number would get people really excited. So we're playing them sort of early in the set. We're at the midpoint in the set. So 2 big high energy numbers. Then I really wanted to put this song in the set because I think it's beautiful. Now, as I see it here, I don't know if it works after Don't Lose My Number. I'm just not sure where I would put it, but I want The Least You Can Do to be here. And so I've kind of as you can kind of see, and Phil does this a lot, Genesis does this a lot, where you do really big numbers and you do softer numbers, and then you go really, really big. I felt that the Farewell Tour was a little bit heavy on the soft numbers. And so there's some soft numbers you'll see that I've cut from this set, but I really wanted to do The Least You Can Do. I'm putting it here. And then I'm having it kind of flow into You'll Be in My Heart. And so I don't know if those songs are too similar in tempo and in feel, but I think that, you could do Least You Can Do after Don't Lose My Number as a nice little lead into You'll Be in My Heart, which would be a massive song and people will get really excited. So what I want to do now is, because we're coming to the end of the set and we have some big, big, big tunes coming up. And so with You'll Be in My Heart, to me, this should almost feel like wrapping up what is the main bulk of the set before we get into what will be hit after hit after hit. You'll Be in My Heart is obviously a massive hit. It could be a lot of people's favorite song from a show. So that's why I feel like this is a big, big ending to what might be the second act before we get into the final act kind of thing. Lights go down, we get dark here, and we bring in the Air Tonight, which is a very common part of the set for it. It wasn't always, Phil used In the Air Tonight as a segue of what I'm talking about, from the other parts of the set into what would then become the massive part of the set that has Sussudio and Two Hearts, You Can't Hurry Love, Take Me Home. And so I always liked how In the Air Tonight separated the first half of the set, or at least the kind of the deeper tracks, created this new movement, as opposed to ending the show with In the Air Tonight, which it's sort of his biggest song. So why wouldn't he do that? But it doesn't make a great ender. It's not really like a super melodic song. So I like it here. after a very beautiful You'll Be in My Heart, everyone's singing along, lights go out, and what's happening, and we start In the Air Tonight, which is super, super drawn out of a tune. Then after that, we got to hit them really, really hard with Easy Lover. So we know the energy's come back up, right? In the Air Tonight, we know by the time that song is over, and the way that they end it, I think it's faded on the album, but the way they end it is with that ba-bop, ba-bop, ba-bop kind of thing. That kind of segues nicely into another big track. And Easy Lover is one I was going to cut. I actually had it cut. I'm not sick of that. It's a beautiful tune. It's so fun live. But because Philip Bailey was never there, and it's also Philip Bailey's song. It's his song on his album. So I always find that kind of weird that was like, it's almost like Phil's doing a cover of it because it's technically a Philip Bailey song, but Phil wrote it. So I was going to leave it off, but I had to put it back on. It's such a great track. And I think it works really well here. And we go into Two Hearts, which is usually comes out of You Can't Hurry Love. But I think we're obviously the energy is like, we're just going nonstop here. Two Hearts into Sussudio. If I'm not mistaken, that on But Seriously was like, that flowed together, right? I think that works. I want to keep that together. And again, when I'm putting this set together, it'll be different if I were to do a Genesis set list, which I might just do. On Phil's songs, like the hits play a bigger role in his catalog than the hits in Genesis do, I think. I think that there's an argument for how some of the deep cuts to Genesis fans are as important, if not more important, than some of the big hits. Whereas on the Phil Collins songs, it's the Two Hearts and the Easy Lover and Sussudio and In the Air Tonight that are super, super important to not just the casual fans, but to diehard fans as well. And so I was putting this set list together. I wasn't just going to put on deep tracks. I actually want to put on big hits because I want this to be a good show. I'm kind of like doing this as the role of a producer. You know what I mean? Like I said at the beginning, I'm not making like Scott's favorite songs list here. I've already done that. So after Sussudio, I want to play Find a Way to My Heart, which was a song he did live on Both Sides and on Dance into the Light tour. He didn't do it a lot on the But Serious tour, but I think, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Find a Way to My Heart is the closer, or is the end of the set. So Sussudio is really big. And then we start to play Find a Way to My Heart, which I think is a great way to end the set. It's a great way to end a concert. And so it's my favorite song. I know from a lot of you, it's your favorite song. So I think it's a fantastic way to kind of end. We know there's going to be encore, right? So like, we know that there's going to be some other tunes that are going to come out. And so I think let's end the pre-encore with Find a Way to My Heart, not Sussudio. Do it with like a big emotional track, like Find a Way to My Heart, which is very similar in feel to You'll Be in My Heart or to even Take Me Home. So I think this is where it becomes my set list. We have these big hits where we go In the Air Tonight, Easy Lover, Two Hearts, Sussudio, and then we do Find a Way to My Heart. Then encore, he goes and takes a whatever. Here we go. Then he comes back, and here's where, tell me what you think about this. So he comes back and We Wait and We Wonder, which I love this song. And I think it's very similar to Find a Way to My Heart. And so in my mind, it's like he goes out with Find a Way to My Heart. And then after the encore, he's called back on stage and we start to build up this massive, massive song. We wait and we wonder, wait and we wonder, we wait and we wonder. And it's just, I don't know. I think it would work really well in the set, especially deeper in the set. I think he did play this one, or maybe it was Survivors on the Both Sides tour, but it was earlier in the set. So I think it works really well here. Now let's strip it back down with a piano. Let's do Groovy Kind of Love. I was going to leave this one off, you know that, but I think it kind of works. After We Wait and We Wonder, and we do Groovy Kind of Love, everyone's happy. All the people who that's their wedding song get to hear it. And then, of course, we close off with Take Me Home. I mean, we can't not. Like, I kind of get annoyed that he plays Take Me Home as a closer all the time. I remember when I was a kid, I was walking through the parking garage of the arena after the But Serious tour, and people were singing Take Me Home in the garage, reverberating in the concrete. And so you have to end with Take Me Home. He's handcuffed. I mean, he can never not end a show with Take Me Home. But that's why I kind of designed this encore section as being able to use like 3 different enders, being able to end the set pre-encore with Find a Way to My Heart, which would be super emotional and super beautiful, to call back with another emotional yet very upbeat song like We Wait and We Wonder, and then to still be able to end it with Take Me Home. So that's my set list. I don't know what you think. So I kind of basically laid it out like this: big openers in the top 3. Then I've got a little chill out section, my Motown medley, a little mellow section, which I think is cool, 2 upbeat numbers, kind of taken from the Dance into the Light set list. And then we're chilled out again with Least You Can Do, which I love hearing that one. And then You'll Be in My Heart. I think those would work together. Then we got the big hits, the songs that we just have to do. And we put them all together so everyone is just like freaking out, 4 big hits in a row. And then my encore, Find a Way to My Heart, We Wait and We Wonder, Groovy Kind of Love, and then Take Me Home. So I don't know. I kind of like it. This has been so much fun. This has been so much fun. And I made a little Spotify playlist. Maybe I'll link it below. I'm not sure. Check the link below. If it's there, it's there. But this is kind of my ideal set list. And like I said, I wanted to kind of honor fans of all stages and ages who enjoy Phil Collins. And I wanted to make a playlist I think that everybody would like, but still to throw in some of my deeper cuts like Can't Turn Back the Years or Least You Can Do, Behind the Lines, Find a Way to My Heart, We Wait and We Wonder. So that was kind of my thinking with this set list. There was a couple tunes that I tried to make work, some other deep cuts like Doesn't Anybody Stay Together, Inside Out is a great live song. I wanted to put Every Day on here, but I chose Can't Turn Back the Years instead. Something kind of more energetic from Dance into the Light would have been cool too if I had time. Do You Remember is beautiful, but hard to make room for that. There's just too many, Do You Remember Every Day sound very similar. So You'll Be in My Heart, Can't Stop Loving You, they all sound kind of similar. So it's kind of hard. They don't sound similar. They're just the same feel. Through My Eyes is the most underrated Phil Collins song of all time. It's on Testify. It's the best song on Testify. And I think it would be good on a set, but I didn't have a space for it. It's hard. Son of Man would be wicked, but I don't know. I think he would probably do Strangers Like Me instead, but everybody loves Son of Man. You Know What I Mean was really nice in the latest tour. And Saturday night, Sunday morning, I had thought about maybe putting into my Motown thing, but I never got a chance to do it. I thought that could have maybe fit into that Motown list. But anyway, I'm curious what you think of my list, and you can leave a comment and let me know what your ideal set list is. This is mine, and I would be super happy to see the show. And one day we'll be able to put on our virtual reality headsets and watch some AI generated Phil Collins concert where you get to pick the set list. And so I'm just preparing for that time in 20 or 30 years from now. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.